there's an old adage that says, African proverb, call it what you want to, that says it takes a village to raise a child. And I heard, on the radio the other day, somebody asked a question. Well, who gonna raise the village? And so I think that's an excellent lead-in to our discussion today, because we have with us a young man who is a part of the village, but he's also has some programs and some initiatives to help raise the village. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, and it's with a lot of pleasure and admiration and all that good stuff to have with me today Mr. Rogerjackson, who's the executive director of the Motivating Youth Foundation. To be honest with you, he's been on the show twice already. I said, well, I'm gonna give him 4 or 5 years, before I have him back, because I don't want the folk to get tired of him. Well, I was the only one with that kind of attitude, because everybody else trying to get him on, get him on the show once a week or once a month. So I said, well, I better take heed and have him back. But on a serious note, he has been involved in a lot of publicity, because he's doing some things that absolutely deserve publicity. And so I said, well, I think that the community needs to be familiar with what Roger and Motivating Youth are doing, and not only as it relates to Motivating Youth, but he's involved in several other projects and initiatives that helps to make the village better. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Just talk a little bit initially. Go back a little bit to Central, I guess. Talk a little bit about yourself to familiarize those who aren't. I know in church the other day, Pastor asked, how many of y'all remember that when Roger played professional football, and only 3 people raised their hands, I know it hadn't been that long ago. But just talk a little bit about you and your life and how you grown to where you are.
One of the things I say and I tell people, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it exactly the same. I wouldn't change a thing, because, life experiences that you go through is life experiences, to learn from. So, and dealing with that, at Central, we were state champions. The only state champion in this town since integration. And I didn't know that today. We was talking about it the other day, and I was like, wow. But you don't think about that as a kid, as a young man, that, you was the part of the first or the last,
Right.
But hopefully we will get a state championship at some point in time, because we've got some great coaches at each high school in the city. And they're doing a great job in working with young men and bringing them along as, I was brought along by Coach Brody, Coach Reynolds, Coach Mac. Matter of fact, just got on the phone with Coach McWilliams.
Oh, yeah, Roy.
Yeah, trying to find some pictures of Michael Jolly. He going to be inducted into the Macon Sports Hall of Fame in May. So Bobby Pope trying to find some pictures for him.
Okay.
And I was like, time when we played, man, in 75,
They didn't have
there were no cameras. And they seem to have forgotten, that there were no cameras back then. There was one camera.
Let me ask you, Roger. Was I coaching when you were over there?
Yeah. You was there. You was helping out, and you was.
I wasn't doing much coaching. I drove the bus and all that, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
And, David Lucas, he used to come through when he came back in town and help us.
But I know Roy
teach us some
McWilliams,
things.
and I think is Coach Brody still living?
No, Coach Brody's passed, and Coach Reynolds passed,
and Goose Steiner.
Coach Steiner, but Coach Roy McWilliams and Coach Sewell, those are 2 of the last guys.
Oh, wow. Those were some good days.
Those were good days. They do it. The things that they taught us back then and taught me is some of the things that I do today. Giving kids a foundation, discipline, holding kids accountable for what they do, for their actions. And most of all, teaching them about education. The education is the gateway. It's the way to get out of here. It's the way to have things in life. If you don't have that education, you don't give yourself no chance at all. But if you got that education, you do have a chance. You have a foot in the door.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do at Motivating Youth. Is stress the importance of education and give kids a foundation that, the school system can't do it all.
Right.
Parents have to do that part, and then groups like I have, and then some of the other people around the city have to do that part. And we need more people to step up and do that part, and not just let our kids go to the wayside.
Right.
One of the things that a lot of people are always saying is, why don't they? Why don't they? I hate that. Why don't they? And one of the things that I don't know where it comes from, but my God says, that's why I put you here.
Right.
So why not you?
Right.
Why not me?
Yeah,
And that's how I look at it. Why not me? Why can't I make a difference? And so that's what I'm trying to do, is make a difference in some kids' lives and stress the importance of education. And most of all, stress the importance of their actions. They create everything within themselves.
Right.
And that's what they have to do, is start thinking that way, that, if I don't create my own way, it won't be created for me.
And it's an interesting thing, and then and I think it's important. We were at the expo the other night. And great exhibition of bringing people together. You done. I want to get. I got to give your accolades, and you did a great job. But I thought it was interesting, and it kind of parallels with what you're doing with Motivating Youth. Is that when Attorney Adams, got up and spoke. He said, "Who would have thought that a young man from a single family household in the public housing project could rise to be a successful attorney?" And I think that applies. I'm from that same housing.
Yeah, me too. We live right on Plant Street.
Right.
So when he went to Center Field to play, or Tenterfield to play, he had to pass our house, so he picked my brother and me, and we all went together.
I understand it. And so what's important about that is that there is no reason to think, and that's why your program is important. Because a lot of these young people are from, some are from single family household, and most of them probably are from low income households. But in spite of that, there's no reason to think that these kids cannot be successful. And I want you to continue talk a little bit about, where you went to college and your pro life too. We can come back to, but what I want to say is that that's why your program is important. Because it takes those kids right where they are, and you can talk about how many of them make honor rolls. So what I'm trying to do, Roger, is portray to the community that if it were we, we can make a difference. And I think your program is a model of what can happen. I want you to talk, after you talk about yourself a little bit more. I know you.
I don't like talking about myself.
I know you don't, but I want you to. And this is my show.
And the things that you taught me as a young man coming up, and Coach Brody, Coach Reynolds, and a well of my teachers. Cleo Roberts, Eddie Bryant, Robert Reed. All those guys. Miss Foltz. It just goes on and on, and Mr. Caldwell, in French,
Bonjour.
But the thing is they always talked about education and that we could overcome, and the thing about it is, when I got to Bethune-Cookman, the same thing continued. The coaches and the instructors and the professors there at Bethune-Cookman kept talking about education and how important education was, and how it was when they came up, and and then you started listening, and then they come from single parents, and I don't buy into the single parent thing, because I come from it, Virgil came from it, you came from it, and the thing is, we're giving our kids an excuse.
Right.
You're giving them a built-in excuse that if there's not two parents in the household, automatically they're gonna be unsuccessful. And that don't hold true. Majority of our leaders now come from single households. Majority of a lot of our educators are people in prominent position come from single households. The only thing I say about the single household, if there's not two parents there, it's not enough money. That's the only thing I can put it on. It's not enough money to do the things that you ought to be doing, but it's enough money there to, like my mama says, you got a roof over your head, you got food when you want it, and you got clothes on your back, and you ain't cold and you ain't hot. Everything else is, hey, that's just a luxury.
Go for it.
You know? But in dealing with the kids that I deal with now, all of them come from different situations, and all of them not bad, and all of them not good.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, we have to keep stressing that the importance of education, how they can overcome whatever obstacles that's in the way,
Right.
and that they can't be the problem to themselves.
Right.
And that's what we get into. And the all the little gadgets that they have. A lot of our parents now, they work so much in trying to provide for their siblings or for their kids what they didn't have, and saying, to me, I didn't have it, so I'm all right.
Why you got to have it?
Why you got to have it? But that's part of society. That's how the world has evolved until we give, and all these gadgets that kids supposedly need in order to be successful as a kid, to be happy as a kid, is some of the determinant. But our parents, you work, and you give, but you don't talk. You got to talk to you got to talk to your kids. You got to ask them how their day went, ask them to see their homework. Tell me what you learned in school today. I mean, those are the basic little simple things. And give them a hug. Kids come into the center now, and they come by, they just stand by me, and I know what they want. They just reach over, just give them a hug, and then they go on by the business.
Yeah,
but that's what we do, at Motivating Youth. We're a family, and we hug each other. We congratulate each other. We commend each other on a job well done, and then most of all, when the job is not well done, for its attitude, character in school, behavior, and not doing your work and not making good grades, then I get on them about
Yes,
that.
sir.
I stay on them about that, and they know to get to my heart to get those things, because I do give them those gifts too. But you got to earn your rewards. And some of the things with the young men, I have to show them how to mop the floor, how to sweep the floor, young ladies how to wipe off a table, how to set a table, all these little etiquette things that they should know.
Right.
Young men, ladies go through the door before you do, open the door.
Right.
It's just things that we take for granted as grown-ups that they know, but they don't know.
Right.
And they're just building up the young kids as a whole, and they appreciate that. I can remember when I was inducted into the Macon Hall of Fame, and I demanded that I take 38 honor roll kids, and the Hall of Fame was like, we don't have space. I was like, well, I'm not coming if I can't bring the kids. And they was like, why? I said, because I want to show them that it's through education that I got this award.
Right.
And if I wouldn't have graduated from high school, if I wouldn't have went to college, and if I wouldn't have graduated from college, none of this would have happened. I would have never got to the pros. And through education, anything is possible. Now I'm standing before these people who are giving me this high honor,
Right.
and I want them to see that
Right.
hey, one day they can do it.
Right.
But when they came into the room, I mean, the Hall of Fame broke down. They put a table right in the middle of the room.
Now this happened at the facility?
At the monument, at the Coliseum.
Okay.
So they go on. So the kids come in. And everybody was seated, and we came in last. And we walked in, marched in, and we had on our shirt and ties. Young ladies had on their nice little ruffled dresses and everything. And we was clean. We was sharp. We looked hard. We looked like we belonged there.
Look here, who's one of our vendors at the expo the other night. She said, Mr. Hampshire, you was casket shawl. I had heard that was
all the time.
Y'all was casket shawl.
You were. Yeah, that's all the time. Look at you now. But as we came in, the kids say, "Oh, Mr. Jackson, we get to do our etiquette now."
Right. Wow.
They saw the table set
Right.
according to how we teach them at the center.
Right.
And they say, we get to do our etiquette.
Wow.
And these are 6, 7, 8, 12-year-olds, like, oh, yes, we do. Then they look at each other like, wrong fork. Because we were eating salad.
Yeah,
And
right.
So the place, they was like trying to pour tea. I said, I'm going to wait on them today. They like, well, you're gonna be awarded. I said, I'm with my kids today, and we just gonna go from there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and then when the time came, I went up and got my award, and then I told everybody why these kids was here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and they applauded that. That they thought that was outstanding to put them out front like that, and
Right.
put them, not on display, but on display.
Yeah,
This is what we can
Positive display.
Positive display where we start from here and they grow to here.
Right.
And that's why with Motivating Youth, we put so much emphasis on our younger kids, because if we can catch them now, kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth,
Right,
fifth, and
right,
up,
right.
and we can start to mold them and give them that foundation
Right,
that
right.
they need in education, reading, writing, language arts, and math, and in proper etiquette of how to, how to handle situations. Then we won't have to worry about it. They'll grow up in it,
Right.
and they'll be used to it, and it'll be the norm.
Right.
It won't be something out of character. I ain't supposed to do that. No, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I'm supposed to act.
Right. Talk about a typical day, and then we want to get into your moving it to the south side too. We're going to talk about that for a minute. But talk about a typical day at Motivating Youth.
Oh, it goes from me going around throughout the day, raising funds for the organization, because we need funds to operate. We have 16 certified teachers that teach there in the evenings in our after school program. But in the summer, we have 28 certified teachers and coaches. I believe in having 2 teachers per class, where we have no disruptions. When one teacher's teaching, the other teacher's instructing, so that teacher don't have to stop what he or she is doing when they are teaching a specific subject on the board. And it goes from serving them dinner in our after school program. They come in, they play for about 15, 20 minutes. Some play longer, and the high school kids get at 3:30, but we get started about 4:15, and by the time all the kids get there. And then, some play for 45 minutes, some for 30, some for 15. But we serve dinner, USDA regulated dinner, hot. Some meals are cold, but they have meat, vegetable, bread, juice, milk, and a fruit. And a lot of our kids that I deal with, that might be their last meal of the day.
I'm telling you, man.
Their last meal. But then you look at the kindergarten and the first grade, they come in, they eat at school at 10:45, 11 o'clock. Now we're talking 4 o'clock. When they come in, they are lunchy, like my mom said. They are lunchy. They want to eat, so we serve meals to them that is catered by our Old Time Bar and Grill. That they serve outstanding food, and they've done a great job of partnering with us
Right.
to feed our kids,
Right.
and they take pride in doing it.
Right.
They take pride in doing it, and I commend them. And then we get into our homework and our tutoring in the evenings from 4:30 till about 5:45. And our teachers they're the best. They've been with me for 6 years now. Nobody has left, and I commend that they enjoy doing what they're doing. They also enjoy getting paid. But they see the vision that I see, that how we can help our kids, and to see where we started at with 5 honor roll kids out of 110 to over 101 now that are honor roll.
Come on now.
Now the other night I started correcting. You said 80%. I was like, no, 92.
I said that the other night.
You said that the other night. I was like,
Hit the chest. Get it right,
92%
bro.
now. But that's the thing.
Well, what I'm talking about is that at our expo the other night, because of what Roger and some other folk in the community are doing, to uplift the community, then he received an award, him and his organization. So that's what he meant, because I said when I was introducing him, I said 80% of his kids, are on honor roll, so I stand corrected.
92%.
Yeah, go ahead.
But in doing so, the kids that started out with me, they was like in kindergarten and 4th, 5th grade, and then some was in high school. But those that was in high school, they in college now.
Wow.
We had our first college graduate last year,
Wow.
and she's working with Georgia Children's Home out there as a youth counselor. Which I said, well, I guess we had a part of rubbing off on her,
Right.
and she's doing an outstanding job. She comes by the center now and helps out still.
Right.
We got 5 in college now. We're getting ready to send 4 more in August off to school. Those kids have grown up in the program, and you see how they change from when they first come in, some disobedient, some obedient, but then you see how they grow. And then now when new kids come in and who have some problems of getting along with other kids or have a problem in school or whatever, we got some kid that can go tell them, say, I used to be just like you.
Look at me now.
Look at me now. You know, and we don't do that here.
And that's the best discipline in the world.
Yeah, and then they tell them, you tear up something, we might not get it no more.
Yeah.
You know, and they take care of the equipment, they take care of the books. You know, we had a thing where in the last 4 years, I gave out bicycles, toys, dolls, MP3 players, computers, laptops, tablets, whatever the kid, you know, what you give your kids, parents give your kids now for Christmas. This year, I say I'm not going to do it because I never saw those things. I never saw bicycles in the neighborhood. I never saw the kids riding their bikes to the center like we used to do.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see them skating or using the skates that they got. I was like, I'm just wasting money. You know, I never saw them carrying the tablets, the MP3 player list. I was like, where's the stuff? They said, it's at home. So I said, I got a trick this time. I ran across a company that they do an outstanding job of getting books out to nonprofit organizations. And they say where a book costs $18, $20, $35 that you buy normally, you just pay for shipping.
Wow.
65 cents, $1.25.
Right.
I bought 790 books. Everybody got from 3 books to 5 to 6 books a piece.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
From the kindergarten to the high school.
Right.
Now, those high schools it was their turn to get the tablet and the laptops and the computers at the house, they were mad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because it's like, why you ain't doing it on my turn? But when they went home for Christmas, they came back in January. I said, who read the books? All of them hand went up. Who read 1 book? 2 or 3. Who read 2 books? 10. Who read 3 books? 35. Who read 4 books? 50. Wow. You know, the numbers just and then who read, you know, all your books? Like 28 kids. Wow. Read all 6 books. Wow. You know, and this from kindergarten through high school, you know, through the 12th grade. And that was a feeling there was, I think I'm making a difference. Yep. You know. Man. I don't want to cry now, but
no, don't
but
cry.
It's when you get to, when the kids get to doing what you set out, setting a foundation of them doing, and they get to doing it, you like, golly, I didn't think it was going to.
Well, we're going to take a break right here because we both going to be praying. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, interviewing Roger Jackson, Executive Director for Motivating Youth. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Alex Habersham, publisher of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages. I would like to personally encourage everybody to take a minute and just think about the kind of contributions that African Americans are making and have made to our society. Additionally, I encourage you to take a look at the Black Pages, Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages.com, to observe many of the business individuals who are making a contribution to our society. And finally, you can make a difference in our community by supporting those businesses, supporting the community, volunteering in the community, and that way we can make positive history in our community. We're back. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
Alex Habersham interviewing Roger Jackson of Motivating Youth. Roger hasn't tried to emphasize too much the fact that he played professional football with the Denver Broncos, but I observed something, maybe a couple of 3 months ago, and he came to me, said, hey man, we got Tony Dungy coming. I said, huh? And sure enough, and and I appreciate he invited me over to listen to Tony Dungy speak. But what do you think, because there are literally thousands of professional players, and I understand you got somebody else coming soon too. What component or characteristic you think you exemplify that would cause people like Tony Dungy or Mike Ditka to respond to you?
And the things that from high school to college, and then finally get an opportunity to play pro football under Dan Reeves at the Denver Broncos. You know, the same characteristics in my teachers, my coaches, high school, college, I got it in the pros from Coach Reeves, you know. And the way that I've been taught, I was raised, and it seemed like me and him was a marriage made, you know, because it was like, I'm from Georgia, he's from Americas, I'm from Macon, and then the educational part, he understood coming from projects, you know, in the city, and him coming from a rural area, and it just was a great blend. And then my education, out of 42 rookies that was there in minicamp, and then it was 141 in training camp, rookies. I was the only one that had graduated from college.
Wow.
The only one.
Wow.
And I made an emphasis on it when we did our little rookie talent show, you know, about education. And when we started running plays, I was the quickest one to learn plays, you know. And Coach Reeves was like, it's a tribute to your education,
right.
You know, that from your high school and your elementary all the way up through college to now. And so they had a thing. You make too many mistakes, you go home.
Yes, sir.
And I had a thing about me. I ain't going back home. When I go back home, it's the end of the season. And I'm going to have my money with me. Yeah. And I'm going to have a car. And everybody going to know that I played pro ball. Right. And so that was one of the things. And then it led to me being the first player for the Denver Broncos ever to be hired off the field into the front office. And I tease with John Elway now, telling him that, hey, he got his job because of me, because I did such a great job. Right. You know, now he's vice president of the company, of the Denver Broncos. But, you know, I set an example of how athletes are supposed to work in a corporate world. And after that, it led to other opportunities in the league with the Kansas City Chiefs hiring me away from Denver. And then the Minnesota Vikings hired me away from Kansas City. And then that's when I met Tony Dungy at Kansas City and Minnesota. And the way that I evaluated and the way I wrote my reports, he was like, "Where'd you go to school?" And I was like, you know, from Central High. He's like, "No, college, Bethune-Cookman." He's like, "Man, you can really write reports." Right. And then that built a relationship, education. Yes, I'll fall back on education, you know. And one time I had in a game where I intercepted the ball to win the game against the Raiders in overtime. And ran it back, and we won the game, and then we got in the locker room, and then all of a sudden all the microphones come in your face, and you're like, you know, I saw ESPN, and then I said, "That's live mic there." I like, and they said, "You intercepted make the game winning play, interception, go back to win the game. What do you say?" I said, "Yes, I did." And that next week, Coach Reed Kids had recorded. He brought it into the meeting room that Monday, and he played it. I was the most embarrassed guy ever. That's the most I ever been embarrassed. I said from that point on, I never used incorrect English again. Right. You know, and that's what I tell my kids, because I make them get up now at the center and hey, talk about the field trip, talk about what you do on the weekend. Right. You know, and so, you know, and dealing with people that are in my past that now I can make a phone call. And they say, "I understand, I'll be there." You know, and we got some things coming with August 28th. You know, we had Tony Dungy here October the 2nd. Now we have Mike Dicker coming August 28th. Wow. You know, and one of the things that Coach Dicker said, hey, he wants to come see the program, and anybody else that want to come see the program and join in with us, you know, we have open registration now going on.
And you ain't got no problem with a check, do you?
Got no problem with a check.
Well, talk a little bit, because we're almost running out of time. Talk a little bit about the expansion of Motivating You, because, you know, now we needed north, south, east, and west. Yes. So you started over on the east side, and it's been very successful. What are your next moves?
The next move is we partnered up with Macedonia Church, that with Pastor Eddie Smith, and his congregation, and we're going to move to the south side on 600 Eisenhower Parkway. And we're going to create a program there, start a program there that hopefully is going to be just as big and vibrant as the one on the east side, the Family Investment Center. And we're looking forward to it, you know, because, you know, the schools on the south side has been, you know, had done so well testing. And we look at now what we're doing on the east side at our program, and the test scores at Birdie Hunt is immaculate. And even Appleton was the only school that made AYP and everything in that area. That we figure we're gonna be able to do the same thing on the south side. So we're getting ready to make it happen. It is going to happen.
Well, before we give out a time, I'll go ahead and say to the community, you know, how to contact you and, you know, what the community can do to assist you in this endeavor.
My contact number is 478-320-4756, or you can go on our website at moyofoundation.com. That's MOYO foundation.com. Or you can email me at motivatingyouth@yahoo.com. And registration is on our website. Or you can come by the center, 905 Main Street, and pick up a hard copy of application. But please give me a call. We have the funding part. We always need funds because we can't make these things happen without funds. You know, we have willing people that want to work and that want to help our kids, and I've located them, identified them, and they are vibrant teachers and educators that want our community to be better.
Outstanding. This is a call. Let me congratulate you again, though, on the job well done, and let me encourage the community to support this young man, because it takes a village. So he's training the village, and he's training us to play an integral role in making our community better. So, and we can stop saying they ought to do this and say we are going to do this. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Have a great day.